Can you write the name on the cup?
The sticker won't print.
Oh, you can't write on it?
I could, but I can write Charlie
Why can't you write the whole name?
because it's political.
Political?
Yes, yeah. Let me start.
You know what? Forget it. I don't want it.
You absolutely do have a policy about writing political things on cups. Want to know why I know that and why I'm so pissed off? Because I worked there for 2 years!
A few moments later.
If you're used to a Starbucks on every corner, that may soon change. The massive corporation is cutting back, laying off employees, and closing stores. Many right here in Southern California.
Meanwhile,
Barista crying day after being told the store is closing in 2 days.
Our CEO is making around $100 million a year. He has a private jet that he gets to take from Seattle to California.
Starbucks announced that they were closing down a good chunk of their stores, many of them being union stores, which to me seems a bit of a betrayal.
If the company really cared about its workers, one, they could finalize our contract. Two, they could have not closed any of the stores and looked to actually cut from the CEO's pay package. Why are we funding his private jet when I've had coworkers who have had to go home and take expired food because they couldn't afford to get groceries? There are probably plenty of other ways that the company could save out on money, but they continue to throw money at CEOs and union busting tactics. And right now they're just trying to close a bunch of stores to make themselves look good to their investors.
Also, why Starbucks is closing stores is because people like me refuse to go into stores to be served by people like that and be forced to listen to their ideology. Based.
According to the CEO, though, who posted that blog post that went out to all employees, he's saying this is part of a cost-cutting measure and, you know, it's part of this restructuring plan to make it more profitable.
Yeah, so now we're going to take a look back at some of those factors. A lot of these closures are happening in blue areas, and a lot of these stores are the ones that unionized. If you remember, I think I reported on this a couple months ago. We saw the employees walking out and boycotting. They were boycotting over being forced to have a dress code, which they thought was the most unfair thing in the world. And they were successful in lobbying for things like surgeries. So they were able to get that. And now they're saying that these largely unionized locations now are no longer profitable. So it looks like these people were successful in lobbying themselves out of the market. So now we're going to take a look back at how we got to this situation, and we'll look at some of the people and what they're experiencing now.
You want to know the biggest question I have about the modern world, mate? Why is Starbucks still in business? If I ever want a coffee that tastes like served by a with a mask, I'll go straight to Starbucks. It's the only place you can go to get a guaranteed experience every time. I'd rather go to Dunkin' Donuts because at least they're proud of their battery acid. Starbucks puts on this front like there's some bistro. You walk in there, it looks like a hospital. You drink their coffee, it almost kills you. You got to go to a real hospital. It's actually disgusting. And to everybody that says Starbucks is good, you are the problem. Also, another thing, why are the sizes so strange? You go in there, you say, oh, can I grab a medium? They're like, oh, you mean a grippy? Or you mean a bip bip? No, the medium size. Well, if you don't like it, then don't drink there. Don't worry, mate, I'm not going there. But the fact that they exist indicates that people shop there. And if you ask me, I think that's insane.
Why is it important for your store and so many others to join the union campaign?
To show corporate that we're not afraid of them and we're not going to be stepped on anymore. And we are sick of having to live paycheck to paycheck when we want more labor. We want more money. We need to survive in this constantly more expensive world, and Starbucks should advocate for its workers. Starbucks does not pay us.
Person says, Starbucks, like McDonald's, was never intended to be a career, nor can a coffee shop afford to pay its employees $80,000 a year annually. The public is not going to buy $20 cups of coffee to support that type of payroll burden. That's what this guy thinks, but I would love to know what you think. Do you agree that the employees are asking way too much? Or do you agree with this guy that they want way too much? Let me know about it in the comments section below.
And my coworkers are out on strike in protest of the company's recent illegal unilateral change to the dress code, which is extremely costly for partners, makes them vulnerable to discipline. The company is emboldened right now by this current political situation to break the law without consequence. There are real issues that affect Starbucks workers every day. Like even today, we were extremely understaffed and ill-equipped to take care of the volume of customers we were facing, which is one of the many things we're trying to actually resolve with a first contract. We're calling on Brian Nickel, our CEO, and the company to bargain in good faith with us and settle a first contract that brings real changes like improved staffing and better health and safety protections on the floor, instead of shallow nonsense like the dress code.
All right, here's a solution. Put together a group of your fellow unemployed baristas, pool all of your collective assets, and form an LLC to lease one of the soon-to-be empty Starbucks stores. Convince your friends and family to co-sign the loans you'll need for the equipment, remodeling, furniture, insurance, inventory, and advertising. 4, work 16-hour days for no pay until you go completely broke or are lucky enough and survive long enough to turn a profit.
You guys want to know the most part about the second round of Starbucks layoffs? Is that not only are they laying off corporate employees, but they are letting go so many store partners or store employees that work at the stores that they're planning on closing. And I don't know if they're all closing at once, but what I do know is that there is a Seattle roastery on Capitol Hill, and then underneath the Starbucks headquarter building is the Starbucks Reserve. It's like a sister store to the roastery, essentially. But I know that last night they had the roastery employees close early because they were doing maintenance on the building. When in reality, they were planning on closing the store. So the people who were doing their opening shift this morning got to work to boarded up windows and a little note on the front that said something about, "We regret to inform you we will be closing as of today." Didn't give their employees any notice.
I'm a Starbucks worker. I've been with this company for 3 years now. This job pays my rent, my utilities, my groceries. This is my full-time job. I don't go to school. I don't do anything else. This is the only job that I have. Today is maybe my last shift with the company because yesterday we all come into work and we're told that our store is closing tomorrow. So essentially we were given 2 days notice. Sunday we find out if we're getting separated or relocated to a different location. There are multiple problems with this, and the average person can't really see the bigger picture with this because you're not a Starbucks worker and you don't really know what that means. I live in Los Angeles and I know of at least 3 or 4 locations within a 2-mile radius that are closing. That in itself is 60 people losing their jobs. That's 60 people that they need to transfer to other stores. Obviously, we don't have enough stores to fit all those people, especially with 13 stores in a 9-mile radius in Los Angeles being closed. I would be surprised if even half of us kept our jobs.
Oh no, the Starbucks layoffs. Look at this. Oh no. Are they leaving? They look like they're closing down. Oh no, this is terrible. They wrote a letter to the customers. They closed this location up. This is on the east side near Midtown. Oh no, people are gonna lose jobs. Look, this is so terrible.
So I spoke with some of the baristas about the Starbucks layoffs, and they told me that many of the colleagues that they have from other stores had almost no notice, 24-hour notice, email notice, but very fast, very hard closings around Manhattan. Multiple Midtown stores that I'm aware of are closed. I'm aware of at least 3 stores in Midtown East that are closed. I don't know how many across the city, but it definitely was a shock to those employees and to their colleagues.
I never want to see people undeservedly lose their jobs because I believe in the whole "you don't work, you don't eat" slogan, and the fact that they're saying that these people weren't given any notice or 24 hours notice is particularly cruel. I am not on board with that at all.
Let's turn to Starbucks this morning, as you might know, announcing plans to cut some corporate jobs, close some North American stores as part of the company's broader turnaround efforts. Let's get to Kate Rogers, who brought us that news earlier this morning. Morning again, Kate.
Good morning, Carl. So Starbucks announcing a $1 billion restructuring plan this morning in an SEC filing, adding that it will lay off some 900 non-retail employees and, as you said, close stores. The number of company-operated stores in North America will decline by about 1% in fiscal year 2025, accounting for both openings and closures, Starbucks said. It estimates about 90% of the expected $1 billion in restructuring costs will be attributable to the North America business, and a significant portion of those expenses will be incurred in fiscal year 2025. Starbucks said in the filing it's prioritizing investment, quote, closer to the coffee house and the customer as it looks to reverse a sales slump in its biggest market here in the U.S. Its same-store sales have been negative for 6 straight quarters, and CEO Brian Niccol has just surpassed the 1-year mark in that role. This is the second round of layoffs under Niccol. There were some 1,100 positions eliminated, mostly in its corporate headquarters earlier this year, as Niccol looks to streamline this business. He's also implemented a 4-day in-office policy and is investing $500 million into labor and hospitality with the Green Apron Service model, which we've been reporting on. In a letter to employees, Niccol said, quote, the steps are to reinforce what we see as working and prioritize our resources against them. Starbucks stock was slightly higher this morning. I believe it's turned lower since then. As you can see, down by about 0.5%.
Starbucks not performing well makes a lot of sense to me, especially when you take in and consider inflation. A lot of people have been tightening their belts, and it makes sense that this would be one of the first things to go. But one of the first things that is really easy to cut out of your budget is going to be something like an overpriced coffee. You can save a ton of money by making your own coffee at home. Fun fact, I have a caffeine hypersensitivity, so I can't even drink coffee. I can't have a cup of tea. I go pretty much straight into heart palpitations with just a little bit of tea. I even have an issue trying to eat pure chocolate. So I really don't understand the coffee craze because it just makes me sick really fast. I've had to do some budget cuts in my own household, and one of the first things on the chopping block were the luxury beverages. We drink these sodas that are sweetened with stevia, the Zevias, and they haven't been in stock in the house here for a few months. Buy me a coffee link to buy Leroy a dog treat. Leroy, stop that. You're so cute. Oh, I love you. I love you. You guys steal the show. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Red Dawn Daily with your host, me, Dawn Marie, and sometimes Leroy. Leroy, you're not bored, are you? Leroy, did you know that 9 out of 10 people only watch to see you? Yeah. I'm just kind of here holding space for you. It's true. It's true. Leroy, you're so much fun. You're way more fun than any puppet. Right, Leroy?